start with the first one, Pareto chart. The Pareto charts visually depicts which situations are more significant. A bar chart has a bar and a line graph. The individual Pareto chart has two things actually, bar graph and a line graph. Okay, it's kind of a dual axis graph, but it considers some calculation. The individual values are shown in descending orders by the bars, and the line represents the ascending cumulative total. Okay, so it's little complex to create a Pareto chart. So let's see the steps. Go to a worksheet, renaming the worksheet. Now, what are the values? They are taking order date and profit from the dimensions and measures column respectively, and drag genre into column. So they are taking something called as genres. So we don't have something called as genres. So we'll skip that part. Okay. So I'll create a Pareto chart. Now here is where we use something called as a quick table calculation. Now, I don't know whether, yeah. See, first try to understand what is the usage of this Pareto chart. Okay. Now, here what they have done is they have plotted it the count of prime TV shows data set. Okay, for each of the different genres, drama, comedy, kids, the number of view and the total number of running sum of count prime TV show data set. That means if you see, this bar graph is in decreasing order and this line chart is in increasing order. This is a dual axis graph, but the property of this, that the bar graph is in decreasing order and the line graph is in increasing order. If I cannot show you here, but when you point at any point in the line graph, it will show you the cumulative increasing total. And if you point at any point in the bar graph visual, it will show you the cumulative decreasing total. You understand the meaning of cumulative? So the cumulative, since it's cumulative, that's the importance of Pareto chart. And here we have something called as a quick table calculation. Now, in the last class only, we studied three things when we studied table calculations. One was simple expressions, one was LOD expressions, and something that we skipped over was quick table calculation. So there are different kinds of quick table calculation in Tableau, and we use when we are creating Pareto chart, we use primary calculation as well as secondary calculation. So if I just show you here. Okay, I'll now try to plot the Pareto chart and then I will show you. Okay, so just give me 1 minute. Let me first complete the Pareto chart because it takes some time, and then I will explain you the steps and clear your doubts. Okay, and I'll explain what I have done exactly. Okay, so can you see this Pareto? This is called a Pareto chart. Okay, so this is what is the question I'm trying to answer here is, so Pareto charts are basically designed when you have a very specific question to be answered in mind. Okay, in this scenario, what is the question I'm trying to answer? The question I'm trying to answer is, what is the sum of sales? Okay, let's say what is the sum of sales of key? Let's say how to structure this question. Okay, so the question is which products account for the most total sales. Okay, so if I go to my graph, which products account for the most total sales subcategory wise, because this is what I've taken here, subcategory. So if you see here, this line graph is actually showing me total sales, and this bar graph is also showing me total sales, but this bar graph is made in the descending order and it's a cumulative total, and this line graph is made in the increasing order. So if I want to check which product accounts for the lowest total sales, so it will be something cumulative. So if you go to a specific point, let's say somewhere here, if you can see the orange dot which is being generated here, so it is called subcategory chairs, percentage of total running sum of sales along the table. So for each row, the meaning, let's see, there are two things actually, across and down. Okay, so when you create a Pareto chart, the two important things are, in this situation what I did was, if you see, first thing is I took one bar graph for the sum of sales and subcategory, and I sorted it in decreasing order. Then I took another sum of sales itself, and then I took it as a line graph. Okay, now the next thing is, I saw after that I selected as the dual axis graph because I already told you it's a dual axis graph. Now, after that, so I'll try to show you from the beginning what I have done. So first thing is I took a subcategory of products and I took something called as sales. I get a bar graph. I sort it in decreasing order. Then I took another copy for the sum of sales. Okay. And I converted it into no, first I converted it into line graph, and then after that I just went here, I said dual axis. Okay, now the graph has been changed to dots, so I will again change it back to bar. Okay, so that it's more convenient. So this is the first step. Second step is I go to the line graph. Okay, and whichever one is the line graph, I think this one's line graph, some sales, and I say add table calculation. In the add table calculation, the first thing is, now our objective is like for each subcategory of product, if I take the one unit, like the sum of is some, see here the value I'm targeting is sum of sales. Okay, so for each unit of product, what the sum of sales that has been generated for each subcategory of product, what is its percentage for the total sales generated, total sum of sales for the entire subcategory? You got my question? Something like what is my, for each, let's say chair is my subcategory. So the sum of sales generated by the chair is what percentage of the total running sum of the entire subcategory of products. Okay. I do one thing. First thing is I say running total. So I want the cumulative total. Okay. Now, and there are options table, across, and cell, and there are specific dimensions you want to choose. Now, for a simple Pareto chart here, I have taken as table across. What is the meaning of table across? It will consider each and every row for that particular subcategory to calculate the total running sum of sales as the total percentage of the total sum of sales. Okay. Now I have to wait 2 seconds. First is the running total. Okay. Now I also want the percentage of the total. So I will select, first I choose the running total. Second, I choose the percentage of total. Here also I will keep it as table across. That's it. And my Pareto chart is created. Now, if you want, you can highlight it using different colors. Okay. So let me see if I choose here. Okay, no, I'll do one thing. I will just take the bars and I will take their color to be a little lighter. Okay. And for this one, I will take the color to be a little darker. Okay. Now, so this is, if you see here, if you take bar graph, okay. So the subcategory of products, first one is phones. Phones form 14.37% of the total running sales. Okay. Chairs. Now the next one is chairs. Now chairs, they are saying 28.66%. In the meaning of this is, it's not like only chairs provide 28.66%. It's phones plus chair. That is the meaning of cumulative. I said right. It shows cumulative value. So chairs plus, no, sorry. The first one is phones plus chairs is 28.66. Then you add storage, it becomes 38.41. Tables, 47.42. Okay. Binders, 56. Okay. And as you go on and on and on, and at last, if you see, when you include fasteners, it's telling me that by including fasteners, I have included 100% of the sum of sales value, and all the subcategory of products are included. The total sales generated is 302. Sales generated just by fasteners is 3024. So the percentage of total sales is cumulative, but the sales is given for each individual value. Now, if you go to the graph part, again, you will see the percentage of the total sales is again 100% and 3024. So the bar graph is in the decreasing order of cumulative addition, and the line graph is in the increasing order of the additive, like cumulative addition. And if you go to any particular point, you will get the sales value for that particular subcategory, but you will also get the percentage of the total sales. So by the item copiers, 78% of the total sales is just by, see, if I go to, let's say, yeah, binders. So 56% of the total sales comes from these 5 categories, subcategories: binders, tables, storage, chairs, and phones. So by binders, my 56% of the total sales comes from binders. And how many subcategories are there? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17. So I have 17 subcategories, but 56% of my total sales is generated by just 5 of these categories. So you get the interpret. So did you get the interpretation? First thing is how to create it. Okay, two important things: the quick table calculation part, and two things we need: bar graph and the line chart. How it should look, and the next thing is how to interpret it. Did you get all of this? So see, the calculation bit goes something like this. Okay, can you see the calculation actually what is happening? So you can write it as a function also, but I'll just show you. The first thing is I'm taking the running sum of the sales that for accumulation, and I'm taking it from the total sum of sales for percentage. Okay. So that is the use. So I'm taking running sum of the sum of sales, or I am dividing it by total sum of sales. So that is giving me the percentage value. Okay. You understood the objective of what is the meaning of those. So I'll just go here. You see the edit table calculation. First is the running total. Okay. Table across. Second one is the percentage. Then you select add secondary calculation. After that, you will get the second part, and there you will have to select percentage of total. So Pareto chart is clear, I hope. See, Pareto chart is a very powerful chart for understanding things, but you need to have certain specific questions as in to create a Pareto chart.